Magbo Gaming presents the top 10 rarest and expensive GameCube games. Hello, Magbo Gaming here, and this is a different kind of video we're making for this channel. We're going to rule out what are the top 10 rarest and expensive Nintendo GameCube games, and trust me, you will see some very ridiculous prices indeed. Ever since the 2020 pandemic, multiple upon multiple GameCube game has skyrocketed in price. You can't even notice a similar pattern in PriceCharting.com. So collecting for the GameCube nowadays is very challenging, and not just anyone will be able to do it either. Video game collection in general has become a very expensive hobby. So what are the top 10 rarest and expensive GameCube games? Well, me and my red beanie Magby are going to be pointing out which of all the GameCube games are considered worthy of that title. The list will consist singleware games complete in box, since there are rarely any factory sealed GameCube games out there these days. The new prices will be just an extra factor if we find any. No games that are 2-pack games like the Super Monkey Ball and Sonic Collection ones will be included in this list, since separated they are pretty cheap and affordable on their own. We do have the Metroid Prime / Zelda Wind Waker combo, but I will not add that on the list either because it's cheap to get them separately in different consoles. But I will point out, getting the combo is super expensive, but do you really need it unless you are a hardcore collector? I didn't think so. Also, another factor is that all of this is based on North American versions of these GameCube games. We are talking about games that you have no way to get under $100 if your life depended on it, and you will need to pay a premium in order to fully enjoy it. Plus, of course, it cannot be available in any other consoles like the Nintendo Switch, so obviously Ikaruga won't be here either. So in other words, it should be only available on the Nintendo GameCube and nowhere else. There may be small exceptions though, but you'll find out soon. Now, if only we had Velvet with us like the previous top 10 videos I did in my DNOC series channel, but she has gone missing. Should I just really do it with my Magby, or...
Hey Magbo, I heard you were looking for someone to react to the most expensive GameCube games.
Yes! Us gamer girls know a thing or two about game rarities. There are some rare games I want as well.
Oh, is that so, girls? How did you find out about this?
Well, I guess you could say that we were eavesdropping and we were kind of curious to figure out which GameCube games exactly are the most expensive for our research.
Yes, yes! Please allow us to do our reaction. We want to know!
Very well, you two. I will allow it. I love hearing Gala's reaction to my last rarest Switch games list I did almost 2 years ago with her. Thank you. Number 10. Coming up first on the list is NCAA College Basketball 2K3. Wait, what? A standard sports title? Isn't the PS2 version like dirt cheap? Why is the GameCube over $350+? Well, according to Google, the game seemed to have stopped in the middle of production for GameCube and now has become highly collectible for both GameCube collectors and Sega Sports fans. Basically, in case you did not know, the Sega Sports title were short-lived, and Sega did not believe that they will sell well on the GameCube, so they halted production before many more copies were made. Sure, it's already on the PS2 and Xbox, but I wanted to point this out since it's a fact worth mentioning because of how poor the GameCube performed compared to the PS2. Number 9. Next on the list is Skies of Arcadia's Legend, originally on Dreamcast, and this is like the improved version of this game. In other words, the best place to play this game. It's also one of the very few JRPGs available on the GameCube as well, with a unique storyline about sky pirates. So if you wish to buy a complete in-box version of this game, be ready to shell out close to $200, and it can be even more than that depending on the condition.
Wait, what? 200? Is that even legal?
Number 8. Number 8 on the list is Pokemon XD Gala Darkness, and I actually own this game. Yes, a couple years before the pandemic, I bought this game for under $25. Now, if you find a complete in-box copy of this game for under $200, then you're getting a great deal today. Seriously. This was basically the sequel to the beloved Pokemon Colosseum series with a Shadow Lugia on the cover art. I barely got to play it, but I can tell it's a very good, unique game that is only possible to experience on the Nintendo GameCube.
The pandemic heavily affected the prices of these GameCube games, and this is no exception. The demand for these games has skyrocketed, and it seems that there are less of them on the market.
Yup, and many of these collectors will never have plans to sell these games like Pokemon XD, since it's unique to the GameCube and never has been re-released like the rest of the games on this list. Number 7. It's the Lucky 7 with the original Chibi Robo. This is a very late release on the GameCube that has sold very poorly. I guess it barely had, if at all, any restocks after launch date, which is why Chibi Robo usually goes for over 200 now. This is the first game of its franchise, and from what I understood, was the best game of its series, since the other Chibi Robo games seems to be all spin-off series and like a degrade to its original GameCube goodness.
Oh yeah, when I first heard of Chibi Robo, I always thought it was a neat invention to have your house cleaned. Could have totally used him to clean my room while I was doing overnight gaming sessions online.
That would have been convenient if a little robot like that can clean your room, eh? I remember you used to leave trash in your room.
Wait, what? We do not talk about that.
But yeah, good luck finding a copy of Chibi Robo for under $200. If you wish to start collecting Chibi Robo, I suggest you start with their cheaper games like Ziplash and Park Patrol to make some progress. Reward yourself with the GameCube one when you really feel like you have worked hard for it. Moving on. Number 6. Next on the list is Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, the only Fire Emblem game that has ever came out on the Nintendo GameCube. And just like Chibi Robo, it was a very late release, but the release date, the year prior to it. This was around the time when Fire Emblem's difficulty was insane thanks to the permadeath system and not being able to turn it off until Fire Emblem Awakening, the one game in the series that revived the franchise. But this game sold very poorly, and Fire Emblem was barely popular at all in the States besides Morphin Roy and Smash Bros. Heck, I remember when it was under $30 in many GameStop stores across the board. But nowadays, since the Fire Emblem franchise as a whole has become a lot more popular than ever was in the past, the demand has increased alongside its popularity, and this game now demands a premium, especially if you want it complete in box. A complete in box copy will run you around $260 to $300 these days on sold eBay listings, and you would want to know even how much of a brand new copy of this game is worth today. And
$600? No way!
Yes, Wei. This is very well sought after today. Even this price is justified.
Number 5. Next on this list is an Atlas game, GoGo HyperGry. And oh boy, if you know Atlas games in general besides most of the Shin Megami Tensei and Persona games, you will know that most of these games published by them comes in extremely limited quantity at launch date. GoGo HyperGry is one of those underrated gems that is a skating strict sports style like Tony Hawk, but unlike Tony Hawk, it has an array of different cartoon characters as skaters. Getting a copy of one of the very few Atlas published games on the GameCube especially will cost you literally an arm and a leg. They can range between $400 to $500 for a complete in box. You can get it under $300 for ones that is missing a manual.
Wow, a price for a skating game is quite unusual. Tony Hawk games mostly being dirt cheap.
Tony Hawk games are in abundance availability across all different consoles, but this game, it can only be experienced on the GameCube in very, very limited Atlas quantity. Yikes. Number 4. The next game on the list is actually a Disney game. That's right, Disney Sports Basketball in other words. And to think before 2017, it used to be dirt cheap according to price charting. But as availability became more scarce, the demand and price skyrocketed in the last few years.
Now, if only a time machine existed to go back to 2014 and there I could pick up this game.
Would have been nice, but no one cared for this game back then apparently, but now it's one of the most expensive games out there, ranging from $600 to $700 for a complete copy. And get this, over $2,000 if you want a brand spanking new copy.
Tell me this isn't legal.
And this Disney game is exclusively for the GameCube. Number 3. Now we're getting to the insane prices territory now. Number 3 goes to Cubivore, Survival of the Fittest. And yep, yet another Atlas game. So of course they sold poorly and printed in very limited copies. A complete in-box copy of this game can go around 500 to 600 bucks. And if you want a loose copy of this, still gotta fork out about $300. This is a very weird looking game indeed, with weird looking creatures trying to survive and eat their other competitors. It's a pretty unique game and not much else of its kind.
Oh, this game is all about eating? I love food. I think I would love this game. I have different areas of my stomach for hot dogs, ramen, and hamburgers. But wait, what's the price again?
The food game's worth over 500 bucks.
Wait, what? That's almost as much as Nick's weekly paycheck.
Number 2. Number 2 goes to Gacha Force. Yet another GameCube exclusive, but this is not published by Atlas this time. It's actually published by Capcom. Yup, Capcom that brought to you Mega Man, Resident Evil, and of course the Ace Attorney series where Maya here resides.
Wait a minute! Capcom developed this?
That's right. I am surprised you never knew. Apparently Capcom made some pretty obscure games as well. Like Gacha Force, huh? Can't say I ever heard of this game.
I believe not a lot of people has heard of this game when it first came out as well. Printed in very limited quantity and a very obscure Capcom game at that. This game kind of reminds me of a much cheaper game called Little Battles Experience. Seems to be a Robot Arena 3D battle game. And wow, if you really want this game complete in box, it has sold once for over $880. The heck? Usually goes for over $700 normally. This is insane. A game that is almost $1 grand.
No way! That's an obvious ripoff.
If you think that's bad, Maya, wait till you see what's number 1 on the list. But let's take a little break first before we get to it. And of course, before we get to our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Paper Mario and the Thousand-Year Door, Baten Kaito's Origins, Pokemon Coliseum bonus disc with Jirachi, Ribbit King, Spirits and Spells, Phantasy Star Online episodes 1 and 2. Number 1. Coming in, our number 1 pick. It's actually a Pokemon game. Yes, Pokemon Box Ruby and Sapphire to be exact.
Oh, for real? The Pokemon game made it to number 1? That really surprised me since they are now the number 1 best-selling franchise in the world.
Yes, this is not even a game per se either, but an application that allows you to store a good amount of Pokemon from your Ruby and Sapphire versions into the GameCube storage box. Think of this as a predecessor of Pokemon Bank and Home. Yes, I believe their idea initiated here as an offline storage system for your Pokemon. So if you want this game at all, how much are they selling it to you now? Well, if you hope to even find a loose disc of this game, $1,200 to $1,500 for the used loose disc only? Are you serious?
This really cannot be legal. Inflating the prices like that?
Sadly, now the public and users can determine the prices of these games. A complete in-box copy of this game goes for over $2 grand. $2,000. Yes, Pokemon Box is the most rarest GameCube game of all time and also the most expensive here in the US. You will need to literally sell your used car or work at a job for almost 2 months in order to sort of afford it and take everything else on credit to pay later.
I think Nick needs to win at least 4 or 5 murder cases to afford that.
I assure you, Maya, I will never even think of buying that, even if my life depended on it. I am not a gamer after all. I am only here because of you.
So you want Pokemon Box, huh? Well, prepare to take some money out of your life savings or something to get this. And don't even get me started with a brand spanking new copy. Just see for yourself. And that has been the list of the top 10 rarest and expensive Nintendo GameCube games of all time as of March 2023. This was my first top 10 for the Magbo Gaming channel. but I do have other top 10 rarest and expensive video game series. I have a link to the playlist in the description below listing all the other related videos I did if you wish to look at that after this video, all on my DXX archive channel. If you enjoyed this list and agreed to it, be sure to leave a like, share this video with everyone you know that may enjoy this top 10 content, and comment below your overall thoughts on what you see in this video.
It was a lot of fun reacting to your top 10 list, Magbo. Nick may not be a gamer, but I am sure he will agree that he does sick some reactions to them.
What are you saying, Maya? I am a lawyer, not a reaction YouTuber.
The video is pretty educational in my opinion, and I will be aware to get the games I want early before they go up in price due to the demand. I suggest everybody watching do the same if you can.
Unfortunately, it's gonna be very hard for the newer generation of gamers to start collecting for the GameCube for these prices. But I'm sure if you really are determined to collect for the Nintendo GameCube, I'm sure you will somehow find a way, even if you have to hunt for deals online. Think of it as a life challenge and take all the time you need to build it up. Maybe one day if demand goes down, we will see prices for these games go down eventually. But until then, good luck for all who wants to collect Nintendo GameCube games, and I will see you all in the next video. Enjoy the thrill of the game hunt, play the games you already own and earned. Magbo Gaming signing out. Bye bye. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, here are some other videos I have I believe you enjoy as well. Get fired up and gaming to your heart's content. See you there.